Okay, continuing my research into this resemblance argument between COVID-19 and the pandemic, I started scrolling through this list of sources that they gave me, and I found this one, Effects of Reactive Social Distancing on the 1918 Influenza Pandemic. That's fascinating to me right now, I think for obvious reasons. And I look here, and it's interesting to me that this article was written in 2017, which means it was quite a while ago. It's only 15 pages, 16 pages, like definitely doable. The plus one is a totally reliable source. And what is interesting about this one to me is here I look at the terms and I see that social distancing was a term in 2017, which means that this must have been a term like for a while now. I thought it might have been a kind of political talking point that we've invented just for this pandemic, but it is not. So that's going to be really helpful in my search. Right now I have said quarantine, and I haven't gotten a whole lot of information about quarantines. So instead, I'm going to use this term. Go back to my search. There's a search history here, but I actually think trying to remember how to add to it. I don't remember how to add to it. I'm going to go back. Okay. Here's my search history right up here. I had quarantined. I'm going to do social distancing instead. I got that from the list of terms from EBSCO itself, and EBSCO knows which terms that people prefer. So then I'm going to search. Looks like I get almost the same results, actually. Interesting. Okay, so let's say I'm trying to figure out where that term came from, though. So right now I've got a publication date from 1985 to 2020. That doesn't mean that EBSCO is cutting us off. That means that this term was not relevant before 1985. Let's say I want to narrow this down, and I only want to see kind of like the origins of this term. So I have the first 10 years right now. And it looks like a real influential source here is this book, America's Forgotten Pandemic, The Influence of 1918. And right now in this source, we are getting a review, document type book review. We can click on that, PDF, check out what this book is about. There it starts, America's Forgotten Pandemic. It's from Cambridge University Press, which is a super reliable academic source. And you can kind of read through this and see kind of what this book was about. That might lead you to actually checking out that book. There's a chance that you can get it on like Google Books. Should we look? America's Forgotten Pandemic. The influence, maybe if I go back here, I can copy and paste. Yeah, that's what I want. That's what I want. Well, it's available on Amazon. And it's available on Kindle. Okay, good. I'm feeling very bad about buying things on Amazon now. I guess like all those factory workers. I shouldn't be laughing. Sometimes I laugh, guys. Sometimes I laugh just as a coping mechanism. It's not because I think any of this is funny. I promise. But yeah, this looks like a fascinating book. You might be able to get it on Kindle for pretty cheap. You can rent it on Kindle. That's great. Your county library might have it, an electronic version. We're not going to be able to get it through Google Books because it is a Cambridge University Press. They're pretty tight on it, but yeah, we get a couple of reviews. Anyway, use your resources. My point here with showing you all this is that research is an exploration. It is not going to be a simple type in coronavirus on Google and like just be like, okay, there are my sources. Like, I hope at this point in your academic careers, you know that that is not an effective way to do research. You have all these tabs for a reason. You've got Google Scholar, which you might have used before. Let me see. I'm gonna go to Google Scholar. Yeah, because Google changes too much for me. You can use Google Scholar to find sources if you want. There's all sorts of ways to find these kinds of sources, but what you need to do is you need to explore a little bit. Every time I do this assignment, it's not always about coronavirus, clearly, but every time I do this assignment, I get students that email me and they say, I can't find anything about my topic. And their topic will be something like comedy, or what were some of the topics, like controversial that was it, controversial subjects in stand-up comedy. Okay, I know for a fact that I have read so many essays about controversy in comedy, right? I don't know why these students couldn't find those resources, but my what I expect, my suspicion, is that they wrote controversy in comedy in Google, didn't find anything on the first page, or maybe they did it just like right here, controversy in comedy, didn't find anything with their first search result, and so they just gave up and they said, you do it for me. That's not going to be an option here. You gotta suffer through the research process yourself. Suffer's the wrong word though. You're in AP language, so I assume that this is the kind of stuff that you actually are interested in, like how to find accurate information and how to judge that information as accurate. So I'm just going to sort of encourage you to look through these things, search through. Oh wait, I had limited this. Let's not limit it. Let's see, 2020. Search through the different sources available to you. Let's go back to that one really good one about social distancing. Now this one seems like it's going to be really essential for the essay that I'm imagining writing. So I'm going to go to the PDF and I am going to scroll all the way down to the end. And here I want you to notice another great resource. It's loading. It's going to take a second here. All right. This is called a bibliography. You're going to have to make one for your paper, but they are extremely useful for finding sources of your own. So let's say I like the sound of this, the site of origin of the 1918 influenza pandemic and its public health implications by J.M. Barrie. And let's say I go back to my results list. I hope this is going to copy and paste. And I'm going to do a new search. What if I do this? I just want it to clear. Yeah, there we go. Awesome, and it was by someone named J.M. Barrie, right? Isn't that the Peter Pan guy? Did I get that right? Okay, well, we don't have it, but we did get world's deadliest epidemic 100 years later, and it's because they cite this guy J.M. Barrie too. Let's see, John M. Barrie pandemic. And that is because he wrote this book, The Great Influenza, the story of the deadliest pandemic in history, also available on Kindle. So do you see how, I know this might become a boring video to watch because it is kind of boring to watch people do research, but you see how I'm using this to explore, right? Okay, one other resource I want to show you is not on Utah's online library. You go back to the Weebly, click on Research Resources. It will take you to this page. And we, this year, just got access to something called JSTOR, which is the best research database. If you're getting sick of EBSCO not having what you want, use JSTOR instead. So what did we have? We had 1918 influenza epidemic, right? And then we had social distancing. Let's just try that. I believe that JSTOR will only give you, JSTOR will only give you content that you can access. And you can look here, and we got, how many more results? 144 more results. Now, some of these will be the same as EBSCO, but a lot of these are going to be new. And you look here, pandemic influenza, preparing for the worst. Okay, that's fascinating. I'm gonna look at this. Oh, so if you get this, I didn't tell you this. If you get this screen, you will get this screen. You have to log in. And our login, and I will put this on our Canvas page, it is Harriman HS, and the password is library. So we log in. I say keep me log in every time, but it never does. Be nice if it did, huh? And then we get access to it. And you can look over here at the information and you can download the PDF. And the reason that JSTOR is so great is just because it has access to tons more resources. Okay, so these are the databases. Use JSTOR, use EBSCO, use Gale, but you are also going to be, for this assignment, you're going to be wanting to make these sources contemporary as well. So watch the video on how to trust sources or how to determine how much to trust sources and what to do with the sources that you can't fully trust.